Last week on the Autocar show, we promised you that we'd bring you all the hot and exciting cars from the Geneva Motor Show, and well, here they are. We start off with one concept that grabbed my attention at the Audi store.
Now this hot new concept from Audi is typically Audi, very sharp, very smart, and it is an all-new entry-level sedan from Audi. This is the A3 sedan and should be a very hot proposition for markets like India.
This is certainly a crisp and sharp-looking package. It's small, light and tempting. The A3 sedan concept is in fact smaller than the Volkswagen Jetta and 260mm smaller than Audi's A4. It has been designed on Volkswagen Group's upcoming MQB platform. While the end result is meant to tap into the Chinese and American markets, do not be surprised if this turns up to play a starring role in Audi's fortunes in the Indian subcontinent. Meanwhile, Jaguar had a star car at its stand, and this was a veteran.
Now Jaguar is celebrating 50 years of its iconic E-Type car right here in Geneva for a very good reason, because 50 years back it was unveiled here at the Geneva Motor Show, and you may not believe it, but this is the very same car that was driven at great speed all the way from England here to Geneva in Switzerland in one day for the unveiling.
The E-Type was first brought to life by Jaguar's founder Sir William Lyons. The passing decades have made the E-Type look more beautiful and even more classy. The long, curvaceous hood with the trademark power dome, which we see on Jaguars even today, houses the E-Type straight-six motor with 265 bhp on tap. Given a chance, the E-Type will absolutely fly. Since the E-Type was an affordable sports car, it certainly brought a lot of thrills into the lives of 70,000 lucky owners. Meanwhile, those of you yearning for a super quick Jaguar today, take a look at this, the new XKR S. It almost says that the standard XKR with the black pack wasn't good enough, so Jaguar bumped up the bhp by 9 bhp to 542 bhp. And this also comes with a full aerodynamic kit, a new suspension setup to keep it planted as it visits 200 from standstill in 4.2 seconds. Keep your foot down and it will go on to hit a top speed of 300 km an hour. Talking of beautiful, what do you think about this one? It's an all-new supercar from quite a young company that, despite its age, has taken on supercar royalty like Ferrari and Lamborghini with Elan.
Well, this is Pagani's all-new supercar, the replacement for the Zonda, and if you go by the spelling, you will not be able to pronounce its name. But I've just been told by the company people that it's pronounced Vaira. So that's how you should remember it. Only about 40 of these will be made every year. It will cost about $1 million because it's got a 6-litre twin-turbo V12 from AMG, all carbon fiber, got 700 bhp on tap and a top speed of 372 km an hour.
Using its 7-speed single-clutch paddle-shift gearbox, the Vaira will get from 0 to 100 in 3.3 seconds. Aerodynamics for a car that can do 370 km an hour is absolutely indispensable. So like a fighter plane, the Vaira uses flaps to control its composure, and these even help it to turn better. At 1350 kilos, the Vaira, despite being more loaded than its predecessor the Zonda, is actually lighter. In this super exclusive world, nothing is too much. So the Vaira's chassis is actually a weave of carbon fiber and titanium. The titanium adds flexibility to the carbon fiber weave, which keeps it from shattering to pieces in case of an impact. The interiors are incredible. All the different parts have been machined out of single aluminum billets, including the key. Well, another supercar that has shot to fame is Koenigsegg. While they didn't have an all-new car to display, they showcased an upgraded version of the Agera, the Agera R. Using a relatively small 5-litre V8 with twin turbos, this Koenigsegg develops a whopping 1100 bhp using E85 biofuel. When it's running on regular unleaded fuel, the power drops to a measly 972 bhp and axle twisting 112 kgm of torque. It has an expected top vac of just over 402 km an hour. Meanwhile, at the Ferrari stall, I couldn't believe myself that these Italian beauties will soon be available in India, though the price tags were putting a huge lump in my throat.
Well, I'm sure all of you know the big news that Ferrari is coming to India, and pretty soon at that, you can pick the 458 Italia out of a showroom if you have 2.6 crore rupees. But not only that, you also can pick out the latest Ferrari, the Ferrari FF right here. And it's called the Ferrari FF because the first Ferrari with four-wheel drive is the replacement for the 612. So it's also got space for 4 people. And you can have this for a price tag of about 5 crore rupees.
The FF is quite an achievement as Ferrari has managed to keep its size exactly the same as the outgoing 612 except for it being a little bit taller. So on the inside it is far more spacious for the 4 occupants and it's even quite practical. You can actually throw in a couple of regular suitcases for a weekend. Though far more importantly, just like the 612, the FF has its V12 engine sitting in the long nose. The spacious cabin flows backwards into a kind of awkward rear. The shooting brake design is controversial. I personally think that it's just a polite way of saying estate or station wagon. Now it has raised quite a ruckus, it is either loved or hated. But when you get under the skin, there's no disputing it. The FF is truly a marvel. The 4-wheel drive system is set to be 50% lighter than comparable systems. So it's not going to weigh the FF down or make it sloppy. The latest generation magnetically adjustable dampers take care of the added weight and the varying conditions that you may subject your 4-wheel drive Ferrari to. Under normal conditions, power is transmitted to the rear wheels only, and it's only when the slippery stuff comes your way that torque is channelized to the front wheels as well. The new 6.25-litre motor is ultra efficient and powerful, developing 650 bhp and 69.6 kgm of torque. All the while, fuel efficiency has been increased and emissions have been slashed. Meanwhile, Ferrari's stablemate Alfa Romeo has slashed the 8C in half to come out with this, the 4C concept. This micro concept has a lot of flair in its styling. The sharp edges and the pointy feel to its chin and face stress on the 4C's go faster intentions. The small airplane cockpit-like cabin will surely delight drivers, while the intake scoops on the haunches add to its raciness. The rear has some beautiful Ferrari-ness to it. The round stop lamps though seem a bit outlandish. At just 4 meters long and 850 kilos, the 4C is super compact and super light. It will surely require a lot of carbon fiber. The 4C comes packed with a 1.7-litre turbocharged engine which is mounted midships and pumps out 200 bhp. That will certainly give the 4C some mind-numbing performance. It is also packed with the dual-clutch transmission that's seen on other Alfa models and will surely whip up some exciting acceleration times. But the one thing that was just going up and away was the temperature at the Lamborghini stall, because the next big thing from the Lamborghini family was ready to strut its stuff. Well, finally we get to see the new master and commander of the Lamborghini family. This is the Aventador LP704. It's the replacement for the Murcielago. It's of course got an engine at the back. It's got 700 PS on tap. It's 4-wheel drive. It just looks quite hot. By Lamborghini standards, it's not that much of a jump ahead. We saw the Sesta Elemento and that really blew my lids off. But when you look at it from the side, it's got a completely different story. On the face of it, the Aventador is edgy, though it feels evolutionary. When viewed from the side, the roofline and the A-pillars give it a beautiful smoothness. There's a slippery yet angular feel to it that reminds me of the Countach. New Lambos aren't about just more brutal power. They're about being lighter, so no surprises that the Aventador is almost entirely made out of carbon fiber. To further save weight, Lamborghini has refused to switch to a twin-clutch transmission. Instead, Lambo has designed a ground-up robotized system for the single clutch so that its performance is quick enough to give DCTs a run for their money. But at the same time, the Aventador sticks to its 4-wheel drive system, yet at the end of the day, it is lighter than the outgoing Murcielago. So we can expect this to be a MANIC Lambo. Yes, even more MANIC than usual. With all the supercars swirling around in my head, I decided to call it a day at the Geneva Motor Show. And now I'm gonna start planning on how I'm going to get my hands on all these cars. Find out how the CKD ruling will impact your car buying decision after this break on Buzz.